Welcome to Monday Talks with Marshall. My name is Marshall Zachary, and I am a member of the USA Paralympics track and field team. I have CP and I'm legally blind.
What is the Paralympics?
In a short answer, it is a place where people with physical disabilities can come together and compete at the highest level and represent their country in different sports to show their talents in many different ways.
What inspired you to pursue track and field?
I always liked track and field, watching Olympics on TV, and I actually ran high school track from 10th grade to my senior year. And then I took a 6-year break from 2011 to 2017 where I met, at the time, my training partner, Regis Woods, who introduced me to my professional coach, Tony McCall, at the local gym, 2-Year Health Spa. And Regis asked me, did I have a physical disability? And I told him, yes, I had cerebral palsy and I had a vision loss. And he was like, hey, they have that in the Paralympics where I can run in a classification called T35 for people who have cerebral palsy. And we went out to the local sports complex at the time, and I ran one time for my coach, and that was 2017, January, and now we are in July 2024. So that's what inspired me. Just the one time, it was like, hey, it was a platform for people who have physical disabilities, and I felt like I could do that.
Here we go. What are some of the biggest challenges you face as an athlete?
Some of the biggest challenges that I face as an athlete is the fact that I'm legally blind and I have cerebral palsy. I face, in a sense of the day-to-day, is when I can't commute to practice by myself. In a sense, someone has to take me, pick me up and drop me off. I face that. And then on the track, the flawless running that you all see that I do, that where it looks so easy, it took me 3-4 years just to perfect it to the way where my disability looks invisible. Like my coach says, you have a disability, we understand that, but we want to make it to where your disability works, where your disability looks invisible to the naked eye, to anybody. So when I run, it looks like I have like I'm just a regular person. And then when it really comes to like competing against overseas, I have 2 disabilities, and I could be classified in 2 different classes. I could be a T13, which is where the vision is, and a T35 where the cerebral palsy is. And that's where they place me because my cerebral palsy takes over my vision loss because it's the worst of the 2. So some days with running, let's just say like if it's a hot day out and the sun is out, I have to make sure I navigate the track where I'm not stepping on the line because I could be disqualified for stepping on the line, and they're not going to care that I have a visual impairment because I'm in a class for people who have cerebral palsy and impairments. If you step on the line, you still can be kicked out for stepping on the line because it's our jobs as athletes to make sure we know where we're at on the track at all times and stay within inside our lines. So I feel like that is the biggest obstacle that I have as an athlete.
Can you share an experience where you had to overcome a significant obstacle in your career?
I would say back in 2020, when they actually canceled the Paralympic Games and were postponed to 2021. And due to COVID shutdowns, I had to learn how to train. I didn't have access to a track, and I didn't have access to a weight room the way I usually done. And I never really had a full access to a track. My coach and I Tony McCall used to have to drive up to Gainesville, which is about 45 minutes away from Ocala where we live, to actually go to the Fred Cone Park. So with that being shut down, we had to literally figure out how to do workouts that I would normally do on a track into a grass field. So I literally trained from 2020 to 2021 at my personal home on a grass field. We found an area in my place where it was 100 meters straight, and then we found a place in my area where we could make a curve out of my land, and it was maybe 190 meters. So we would have to come up with my workouts with the area that I had and the resources that I had, so we could get everything done. And then I went to the Paralympic Games in 2021, and I got sixth and I got seventh. And at that time, I knew I could do better, but due to the fact that I didn't have the full resources that I usually would have, I felt kind of disappointed, and I felt like I let my family down, I let my coach down. But like my coach told me, I can't control the pandemic. I can't control that. And I think myself as an athlete, I felt like that was the biggest thing I had to learn, that it's okay not to do well, but to understand why I didn't do well and come back and do well. So I went through the 21 season and went into 2022 where I didn't run as fast as I usually do due to the pandemic, but me being a perseverant person and person who don't like excuses, I kept on training, getting it in where I could get it in. And then once everything opened back up, 2023 came around, and then in 2023, I started getting the proper things that I usually would have, and then I started hitting my times that I normally would run. So I got full access back to a track. Me and my coach was able to see each other. Instead of us seeing each other on a Zoom call or a FaceTime, we were able to see each other face to face, and me having that face to face interaction with him, it actually helped me to be a better athlete. Even though he's trained me to be self-efficient, having him there is like just a reassurance. Like, I don't gotta think about nothing. It's all about my execution. Coach can do everything. Coach can just coach, and I can just worry about execution instead of me worrying about coaching myself, making sure I'm doing everything right. I got a chance to be the athlete again, and I think that was the biggest thing that I have had to overcome in my career. But I believe that without his coaching and his preparation for me, I wouldn't have been able to do that without him being able to prepare me the way he done.
Well, Marshall, that's all the questions that I have for today. Is there anything else you want to say to the people before we cut for today?
Yes, I would just say thank you all for listening. Thank you all for tuning in, and I'm looking forward to seeing y'all next Monday. I want to make this a reoccurring thing to where I do it maybe once a week, and then if we get more traction and more attention, I'll make it maybe 2 times a week. But I want to really show y'all the behind the scenes type of thing about being a professional and still having a personal life. So I want to bring you all in. I'm sorry it took me 7 years to bring y'all all the way in, like on a personal level like this, but I believe I have the tools and I have the knowledge now to actually tell my story and actually allow you all to see what I do from a day-to-day sense.